Newswatch 10's Frank Coletta.
Our request is for some public assistance at this point.
The police want information from anyone who may have witnessed what happened here yesterday afternoon. This is Main Street in the Crompton section of West Warwick. 60-year-old Catherine Hunt was crossing the street after another day of working at the Crompton Free Library.
She was approximately 90% across the roadway when she was struck by a vehicle.
Her husband had come to pick her up. He had parked the family car across the street from the library.
Her husband was not in the car at the time. Her husband had gone to McMullen's meat store over here, and he was coming out the door, and what he saw was, unfortunately, was his wife had been struck, and she was hurled almost to his feet upon the sidewalk in the roadway in front of that meat market. A vehicle was behind this vehicle that struck Mrs. Hunt and possibly could have witnessed the entire accident, and we're appealing to this individual, this driver, to, even if it's anonymously, give us a phone call and tell us if, in fact, this person did see the accident.
Police believe the hit-and-run vehicle was a larger tan or beige car. Several drivers have been questioned, but police are at a loss for physical evidence. Police say you don't have to give your name, but if you have information, they ask you to call 824323. Frank Coletta, Newswatch 10, West Warwick.
Prostitution is...
Crompton Library was run down by a hit-and-run driver, and the West Warwick police are asking people who have any information to call the police department. And that was on Main Street, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And we worked on Main Street for many years, as you know, where our studios were at one time. And I think that Main Street, between Crompton and Murray Square, is a speed lane. In other words, I think drivers go too fast when they leave the light at Murray Square and head down to Veterans Square, for instance. It's unreal, the speed. You've seen it, Tom.
How about Main Street in Arctic?
Yeah?
I mean, it's like the Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
You know.
I think myself that the West Warwick police are going to have to do something about that. And I would hope that they would, because the speeding, well, we see what happens on Route 117.
Oh, it's incredible.
The speed limit is 35, and you're doing 35, and the fellow behind you is on your tail, and he wants you to do 55, and I won't do it.
There was we have a caller standing by. We'll get right to you in a minute, caller. There was a good example yesterday pulling into our driveway at the at WKRI. I always put on my blinker. I'm going to make a right-hand turn. Some bimbo, some real dope, and I wish I had taken the time to grab the license plate number. But he knows who he is. He looked like a real scumbag. He had a nice red car. Now, it wasn't even a nice red car. It was an old bomber with a black vinyl top on. Flipped me the bird.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. But I had my directionals on to pull into the driveway. He was awful upset with me. He flipped me off.
Well, it's getting...
It was either that or he was calling me number one, either one of the two, but I assumed I was being negative that he was saying something nasty.
Well, it's getting so, Tom, that I don't take that little driveway.
You go all the way around.
I go all the way around now because I've had the same thing happen to me.
We have a very interesting caller on the line.
Okay.
How are you today?
Fine, how are you?
Not too bad. See, I was right.
I'm kind of irate about some of these comments.
Today.
Pretty good. I wasn't going to call in this morning, but you said something that made me change my mind. Did you say Mrs. Hunt was hit in front of the library?
The assistant librarian was killed last night on Main Street in West Warwick by a hit-and-run driver.
Yeah, I know her very well, or I did know her very well. She lives right up here on the hill from me. I live at the bottom of the hill.
Right.
And I've had problems in front of there, too. As I said when you had an accident expert on the show one day, that we were in an accident. It was a small one where the corner of my door was turned over, but the other person's car had a big, long scratch on the side of it. And that was in the middle of last winter, I think, something around there.
Well, the accident occurred last night at 5 o'clock on Main Street in front of the Crompton Library.
That's right.
Mrs. Hunt was killed, and she was struck by an automobile that was either light tan or gray, and the West Warwick Police, Captain Ventura, if anybody saw anything at all last night around 5 o'clock, please call the West Warwick Police Department. And while we're also on the subject, let's not forget the Tatro boy 2 weeks ago in Coventry.
That's right.
That was also struck down by a hit-and-run driver. I don't understand how people can do that, knowing full well you've struck somebody and left them lying in a pavement and take off.
You can almost understand an accident last night during that heavy rainstorm. But to strike something, whatever it is, could be a box, could be anything, and not stop to see what you had hit or whatever. Because it's possible that, you know, she had dark clothing and he didn't see her, or whoever hit, allegedly, whatever, man or woman. But you should stop when you feel a thump like that.
Glenn, anything else on your mind?
No, I'm very glad I called in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
A couple